opinions and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Scarefest Television. This is October 31st. This is Halloween. I think there's a song that says, "This is Halloween." Anyway, tonight we're doing I'm going to call it a special episode, meaning that I didn't feel like getting a guest, and this was the first thing that popped into my mind. We're doing a call-in episode. Joe will be reviewing Bloodbath at House of Dead, and to get the title of this, Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. Apparently they're on Shudder or some such nonsense. Anyway, so, Adrian and Brandon were like gone this weekend, so we couldn't do the post-mortem, so we saved that for, the council episode next week. So tonight is the night. I'm going to see if you all actually will support me half as well as you said you would when I teased this episode a week ago. So, the way it'll work, we're going to give you the phone number. Now, then you're going to, of course, this is on Zoom. So if you've never used a phone on Zoom, once you get through, then you have to type in the meeting number. So jot that down also. You have a phone number and a meeting number. And then you have to hit the little pound sign. Just listen to the instructions. It's really, really easy. And once we get you in, the important thing is, before I bring you on air, as soon as you get to the, where you can hear the show on your phone, then you need to mute your computer. Because if I hear an echo when I answer the call, yeah, I'm going to hang up on you, just like that. I'm going to mute you, just like that. So, just so you know. So I guess we're ready to go. We're going to give this a shot, everybody. Happy Halloween. Coming up is the number. There is your call-in number. There is your call-in number and your meeting number. So join me on Zoom via your phone, and we'll just see if we can get this thing going tonight. I wonder how trick-or-treating went. It's cold and windy here in the lovely state of Kentucky. So that means all the little kiddies had to cover their costumes with a coat tonight. But that's light. That's light. Yeah, Jake, you can't just call in anytime, because tell you what, Jake, I did a test today on it and went in and changed one setting, and it completely changed the phone number. So the chances of this number ever working again to interrupt my show is very, very slim, just so you know. Phone number to call in, 312-626-6799. If you have me on Instagram, you can't see the whole screen tonight because we're just doing a direct broadcast. 312-626-6799, and the meeting number is 857-2561-5249. 857-2561-5249. That is our Instagram. That's for our Instagram people. Hey, Adam Johnson is called in. There. Okay, now Adam, there is no way. Adam, and we're waiting for him to connect audio. There is no freaking way Adam Johnson has a spooky story.
You don't know that. He survived Scarefest.
Wait a minute, you're muted. You're muted. Let me unmute you.
You don't know that.
Okay, Adam.
You don't know.
Everybody, of course, now we have on the phone Adam Johnson, the Executive Logistics Director of Scarefest Weekend, who says he has a spooky story to tell.
About Scarefest?
No, about anything. This has to be spooky.
Well, no, that I don't
God,
have
I
anything.
knew it. I knew you would fuck this up, dude.
No, I actually do have a spooky story,
Okay.
and it involves the Warren Museum.
Okay, cool.
So we were downstairs on floor 1, This was at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday. Okay, went down to floor 1 because they said that the lights were flickering, and I went down there and went into ballroom 2. I think it was
in 1 and 2.
Okay, went into 2 where the seminars were.
Yeah, they had. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The lights on stage were flickering. Not the room, the lights on stage.
I didn't know we had lights on stage.
Apparently we did.
Okay.
I went down there. I was the only one in that room. Seen the lights flicker, turned around and left. Wasn't no part of it. Wasn't no part of it. But people say that when they went into that room after me, that they could hear somebody talking about a doll. I said, I don't want to hear any more. I'm done. Let it go.
Well, now to assuage your fears, Adam, there literally was someone that spent the night in the room next to that. You know that.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't mess with it. I'm not touching it. Don't know it.
See, I was just sure I'd have to perform an exorcism over the weekend.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was positive. I was all geared up for it.
I was ready to be like, oh, it's, whatever. Because I'm the ultimate skeptic. And nope. As soon as I seen the lights, I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Peace.
Yes, because everything at the convention center works perfectly.
See, I knew you were going to go there. Anyways, that's it. I love you.
Well, that's my early callers so far.
I'll hang out.
See, this bugs me because when I posted the teaser for this, like a bazillion people said, "Oh, I have a great story. I have this." Now people, I said spooky, but now this can be a UFO story. This can be a crypt. We're in Kentucky. Everybody in Kentucky should have seen like a chupacabra or Bigfoot or some bullshit like that.
Bigfoot, sure. I don't know about chupacabra.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Chupacabra.
I thought that was more like south, like west.
No, it's anything that you don't know what the fuck it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, yeah,
especially if it kills a chicken.
For sure.
Yeah, if it kills a chicken, especially.
Okay.
Jake is asking in the chat room, what should he do with all the candy, apples, syringes, razor blades, trash bags?
By the way, trick-or-treating was cold.
That's what I knew it would be.
Yeah, it was very cold.
Okay, someone in that chat room, can I call and talk about my high school best friend? Yes, Sarah, that would be a lovely story to share with the kids tonight. So yes, go ahead and call it in. I'm that desperate. I will listen to your murder story. Why do women always have a murder story?
Well, it goes back to the whole watching, Dateline and the homicide files and all the other stuff.
Yeah. But they sleep. They watch that shit and they just go right to bed.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, how do you sleep? I'm like, with my eyes closed. So,
Yeah, Jake, we know you didn't experience anything. I know you. Which actually, I mean, I didn't hear. The only thing I heard, now I didn't hear how the ghost hunt went. We had the ghost hunt warrant, and I did not hear how that went. So
I have not heard anything about that. I know Jamie said that they had some stuff, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Okay, now that the War Museum is gone, everybody, now I get to. I'm not talking trash about them, but I will say, I just want everybody to realize that if it wasn't for that movie, Annabelle would be on Facebook Marketplace right now, being sold as just another haunted doll. I just want everybody to know that. I'm not saying it's not haunted. I'm just saying, I think the reaction that we got from a lot of people was a little over the top.
Well, I mean, aren't some people more susceptible? Is that the word? I think that's the word.
The suggestion. I mean, some people they're more open. Like you. Well, you all had an experience. We won't go through the whole story, but we had one guy that was very, very open to the experience.
Yeah.
But if he'd come
I should have told that story. Yeah.
Well, you might as well, because we don't have anybody else calling in yet. Tell what happened. Now, everybody, this is not widely known because I did not know it until after Scarefest was over.
I was not involved in the whole thing.
Well,
Hold on.
yeah, but you knew about it.
I knew about it after fact. Apparently, like, this guy. Okay. So this guy went and seen Annabelle, or went and seen the Warren Museum, or something of that nature, and then he went. Oh, you're talking about. Never mind. So this guy went and seen Annabelle. He went home, and during his sleep, he heard Annabelle telling him to do things. And the next day, he wanted to verify that it was Annabelle, so he went back to Scarefest, to the Warren Museum, seen Annabelle again, and then had a psychotic breakdown in the middle of our con.
See, now, if he had just come to me first, I could have just headed that off, done a quick exorcism.
I told him, I was like, can't we just go upstairs and grab somebody off of one of those tables and just be like, hey, come down here and, sage this guy or something? Like,
Well, I mean, all you had to do was walk down the hallway, turn left, and you had like 3 or 4 witches sitting right there that could have handled it.
There we go. Yeah.
See, we were prepared. I want to tell everybody, that's one thing. I might make light of it, but we were prepared.
We were prepared. We actually were prepared.
Yes.
We actually had a hour-long conversation about that. Didn't do any of it, but we had an hour-long conversation about it.
All right, Sarah, are you going to call in with your murder story or not? I want to hear the murder story.
I'm going to leave you and go be with my son. Love you.
Well, okay, then I'm just going to sit here and apparently just talk to myself now for the next 45 minutes. I tell you what, we're at the commercial break. While we're doing the commercial break, somebody call in and tell me their ghost story.
There you go.
We'll be right back, everybody.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Rue Morgue magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subisati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rue Morgue, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
And I'm back with my utter lack of phone calls. 312-626-6799. Then the meeting that's on the screen, 857-256-1549. Hit the pound sign, and I think you have to hit it twice. So that was our little Annabelle detour. Now we're waiting for Sarah to call in with her murder story. And then, this amazes me, though. People were saying, I think was it Ruth that was saying she lived in Louisville and had a bazillion ghost stories. Thanks for being a fan. Some ghost hunters, there are ghost hunters out there that I know darn well have encountered something that was spooky. While I'm waiting, I'm going to tell you I'm going to say the weirdest thing that ever happened to me on a ghost hunt. I've told this story before, but I've got new people. So yeah, I'm going to tell this story. I was ghost hunting with a group, over to actually it was an antique mall. And so we were going through all the things and trying to get readings off of all the antiques. And finally we were drawn, I don't remember any EMF readings, but we were kind of drawn to this kitchen cabinet. Old style kitchen cabinet, with the bread box up top. I forget what they're called. They're like Indiana cabinets or something. But it has the enamel dough board on it and cabinets underneath. And, nice old, very, very plain. We were standing there and asked the ghost to tell me, give us a sign. If you're here, give us a sign. And as if on cue, the top doors of the kitchen cabinet opened up. slowly, easily just opened up. And what does the professional ghost hunter that is Wes Forsyth do? I went, well, fuck me. So that shows you, this is why ghosts don't want to talk to us, everybody. Okay, let's get one of these callers on. I'm going to go and I'm going to, 1467, you're going to be the next up.
Hey, Wes, this is Chad.
Well, hi, Chad. Tell me a spooky story, Chad.
Well, I always say whenever we're talking about ghost hunting that I've done it for over 20 years and not had an experience. So I thought I'd call in tonight and give you my one experience.
Tell us your one experience, Chad.
I was at the Thomas House in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I went down there as a speaker one weekend and got to spend the weekend ghost hunting. And I had two things happen there, three things actually, that I found unexplained. I think everybody else in the room walked out immediately saying it was haunted, but, you know, I'm a little bit of a skeptic. But we were sitting in the conference room there. I think they call it the seance room. And somebody asked how old, the reports are there's a little girl in there, and somebody asked how old she is. And sitting in that room, I could see everybody else there. Nobody else said anything. We heard the answer 6 audibly, not an EVP. It was an audible reaction.
A disembodied voice.
So that was disembodied voice. So that was one. Upstairs, right next to the room I was staying in, the reports are the former owner whistles. And multiple times throughout the night when there was nobody down that hall, because I went down there and checked it out, I did hear whistling coming from that hallway. And then the one I found most interesting, because it was a visual, there's an old church across the street, and it's condemned. There's areas you can't step in because the floor will collapse. But we were sitting in there doing EVP sessions, and there were fairy lights flashing all over. There's no electricity. There's no wiring. But we could sit there and audibly see it look like fireflies lighting up all around the room in multiple colors.
Okay, now just out of curiosity, what time of year was it?
It was about this time. It would have been
okay,
October,
so late
I
in the
think.
season. The reason I asked that is I had an experience actually, and I think, no, it was at somebody's house. It wasn't Ross Opera House. But somebody was asking me about orbs. And I said, well, you know, it's kind of my thing where I call bullshit on because you never see them with the naked eye. And about that time, I saw one with my goddamn naked eye. However, I quickly realized I had just seen in their house in the basement a firefly. But it was right on cue, right when I said that. And about, yeah. So I was wondering if it could be a time of year where it could be fireflies. But if it was this time of year, I don't guess it could.
I thought about that, but as I looked around too, they were different colors. So I guess that could have been also just the atmosphere affecting it. But I saw blue and yellow and red flashing lights throughout the room.
Wow. Neat.
So those are my experiences. Like I said, after years of doing this, I haven't had many, but that's the ones that stand out.
Now, before I let you go, was that enough to convince you there is something out there?
It's enough to keep me looking for more information.
Good enough. Good enough. All right, Chad, thank you very much. And
have a good night. Happy Halloween.
Good night.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
I'm so sorry.
You muted your damn phone, didn't you?
So hard. Well, I just figured nobody wanted to hear me talk that bad.
Oh, we really do. We need to fill this hour, dear.
Okay, well, I think I figured it out. I'm not technology smart, so I was doing my best.
Okay, well, you're excused because at least you made the effort to call in. Tell us your story.
Okay, well, I've never done this before, but so my best friend from high school, her mom was actually my kindergarten teacher when I was like 6 years old. Okay, so I knew her like my whole life, but we weren't friends until high school. And we got really close in high school, and then college came, and we kind of drifted a bit, started hanging out again like a year before this crime happened that she was involved in. And she called me like a few weeks before the event went down, wanted to go to Keeneland, wanted to hang out, and I was like, yeah. And then the next thing I know, a friend from high school was asking me if I heard that she had killed her boyfriend. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I was thinking, oh God, like maybe it was like an abusive situation that got out of hand or something. Well, no, you know, my friend Google told me that she like murdered the guy, like straight up shot him in the face and murdered her boyfriend. Her name, I don't want to like bash her on public, but her name was Shayna Huber.
Give her first name on it. His first name on
her name is Shayna. Shayna, it was pretty national, like it was all over the news.
Well, yeah.
I guess when it happened.
But boyfriend facial killings sometimes do make the news, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, and her interrogation stuff was really wacky. It was, I guess, compared to like Jodi Arias's deal, like really similar personalities and stuff. I always thought she was a little off, but I never thought she was that.
But you
insane.
fit right in, is what you're telling me.
But I mean, yeah, well, she was friends with me, so there's no like, accounting for taste, I guess. But yeah, like she's really like a cute girl in school, and she was nice and smart, but she just, I guess, was quite imbalanced. And found out he had a date, I guess, the night she killed him with a beauty queen, and she didn't like that, I guess. So she decided she was gonna pew him.
Well, as they say, hell hath no fury.
Yeah,
as a
but
woman
like,
score, not going to
God.
finish that if anybody doesn't actually know the quote. Again, Jake in the chat room, if you're on Facebook, he just posted apparently the link to the news story. So there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we know that the boy's name was Ryan now. So, because it's in the news story. Spoiler alert.
It was just really sad, but
so,
also kind of like crazy.
Well, yeah, anytime
like,
someone you know does something off the deep end, I get that. But so other than just the fact that he went out with another chick, that's the only reason that apparently came up?
Well, if you read like articles and stuff, it says like they had an on-again, off-again relationship, and she would like break into his apartment while he wasn't there and like do a lot of crazy like stalking things. So this was like ongoing, and he wouldn't like break up with her because he just was too nice, I guess. And I guess that's kind of what got him in the situation he ended up in. He just wouldn't break it off with her completely and kept, I guess, in a sense, leading her on. And this particular night, I guess she just shot him in the face.
See, now I was
funny.
I was shitty to a couple girls in high school. I hope none of them actually wanted to kill me, but who knows? I'm still here. I'm still the healthiest
I'm sure Anita
person.
has wanted to a few times.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count. That's completely different. That is completely different. And it's not getting any better, if you're wondering. Okay, well, thank you for calling in, Sarah, and sharing your cheerful Halloween murder story with us. We will...
Oh, you're so welcome.
I will post a link to that on the video, because people watching it on YouTube won't be able to see that. But anyway, so I've got another caller. I am going to take my little announcement break here. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to, I believe that is 3626. 3626. You'll be the next one up. Okay, everybody, while we're doing announcements, don't forget, October 23rd through 25th, 2026. That is the next installment of Scarefest Weekend at Central Bank Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Scarefestweekend.com. And of course, we're adding to that this year, Spawn of Scarefest, the Hotel Show. That's our slogan, the Hotel Show. coming in 2026, June 5th through 7th, 2026, Marriott Griffin Gate, Lexington, Kentucky. That always comes up. I talked to Adrian the other day, and I believe that the tickets are going to try to start getting some of this stuff rolling by Thanksgiving. So watch your post on the Scarefest Weekend fan group. We should get that rolling here pretty soon. The Night of the Undead Zombie Fest. If you're anywhere near Cynthiana, Kentucky, and you like zombie movies, I wish I could tell you all 5 of them that they're going to be showing. But anyway, they've got an all-night 5-film zombie film fest in a theater that the building itself was built like just right after the Civil War. This is an old historic building. It is famously haunted, but even if you don't give a rat's ass about the ghost, Night of the Undead Zombie Film Fest, they've got 5 completely different genre zombie movies that they're going to be showing starting at 8 p.m. on November 1st. Tomorrow night, tickets are still available online, I believe, rossoperahouse.com, ROHS operahouse.com. And don't forget, the Central Kentucky Mystical Market is coming up, 15th and 16th of November, 2 weeks away. 15th and 16th of November. Go to scarefestweekend.com, click on the Central Kentucky Mystical Market links, and you can find that, or just look them up on Facebook. But it is Central Kentucky's premier psychic and artist market, right off the main drag. And, okay, tonight, Barb on Fear the Talking Heads, revisiting Halloween Kills with guest co-host Rachel Mack. Look that up on YouTube, Revisiting Halloween Kills, but just look for @Fear the Talking Heads. Go to youtube.com/@Fear the Talking Heads.
Okay, we're talking to...
April with Scary Kids Home Decor.
Okay, now, the name is probably self-explanatory, but go ahead and explain it anyway for us.
All right, well, we do all kinds of woodworking here for you. So anything that you kind of want burned with the wood, we can help you out here.
Okay, yeah. So, and I see different sizes. You got everything. That's about the size of a business card there. So, yeah, see? And I'm assuming, of course, various prices.
Yes, various prices, different sizes, different objects. We can do tables, stools, lazy Susans, doorboards. Try to name it, we can do it for you.
Awesome. Now, of course, you're here today and tomorrow.
We are.
If someone can't make it up then, how do they get a hold of you?
You are going to hopefully look at this QR code here and go right to our Facebook page. It's also named Scary Kids Home Decor.
Yeah.
You can message us directly on there, and we will be able to help you out on there as well. We are looking to add links to everything so that way you can order by subject, but for right now, just message us online.
Sounds awesome. Now, you're connected here with the Inebriated Baker?
Inebriated Baker.
Okay, so are you in partners or are you just sharing space?
This is sister-in-law, so family.
Awesome.
All family.
That's even better or worse, depending on how you look at it. So
Well, we like each other enough.
So again, this is pretty much self-explanatory, but how does one become an inebriated baker?
Well, first one for a long line of alcoholics and derelict, which I do.
Awesome.
Then one decides, you know what, I'm going to be old and bald like Danny DeVito, and I'm going to have an alcoholism, so I might as well monetize it, which I did. See, SMRT.
Yes. There you go.
I'm the smartest person on the planet. And then I decided, you know what, I want to go out, and I want to be a free-range alcoholic, because I don't want to go out to a bar. I'm an old lady, I'm almost 50 years old. I want to go out, give you a plastic cup, get out of here.
Right.
Free-range alcoholic. So now I eat tell, and now the cops can't get me. Shh, don't tell.
So how do people get a hold of you if they don't come to Scarefest?
Oh, well, you have to call me at 859-823-LUSH. Yes, it is, 859-823-LUSH.
That's awesome.
Just give me a holler. Yell at the owner, we hook you up.
Okay, we will. Thanks.
And we're back in now. 3626. You are on the line.
What is going on, Wes? What is going on, Scarefest? It's John with Doomsday's Crypt.
Hey, John, you got a spooky story for us?
Do I? No. I just called to come say hi, and I wanted to thank you guys for a spooky story. I don't know. My life's a pretty scary story. But I just want to call in and say to you guys, thank you so much for everything. Had a great time with Joe Castro and Danny Hassel, and you guys welcomed them to the table and all you guys did for them. I know Joe had the time of his life. He's on Nightline after Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Everybody should tune in. You said Barb's got a stream tonight, right?
Yeah, and Joe, it's funny. Now, Joe, right after the show was over, Joe friended me on Facebook. Just boom, I got Joe Castro on my friends list.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy to have on your friends list. Just seeing his posts half the time, it kind of blows you away.
Oh, the wild makeup post that he does, yeah, it's been some neat stuff that he shares.
Yeah, he was definitely a hit. Every time he was around the table, he was doing a lot of the classes with you guys. He had a blast doing them, and the fans really dug it. What he did with Adam and that all the heads, the Resident Evil inspired T-Virus monster he did was really cool. Then recreating the Danny Hassel death scene from Part 5 of Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty cool. Speaking of Danny, we'll be at Memphis Monster Con next weekend, which will be a lot of fun. Teaming up once again because of Scarefest.
That's great. That's great. Now, as a vendor at Scarefest, now this is one thing I feel like we have major bragging rights on. Every show that we've talked to this year, attendance was down this year. Ours was not. Now, admittedly, it rolled in a little later. We didn't have to shut off ticket sales, in other words, like we did last year on Saturday. But by the end of the weekend, Sunday I understand was down a little bit, but the other days, it balanced out. And so we had almost identical numbers to last year. So that's really good for us and for the vendors.
Oh, it was fantastic. Scarefest is always my favorite, and I'm lucky enough to do some great cons. But what you guys do is amazing. Like I said, with Brandon, Nicole, and Adrian, and yourself, what you guys and the whole team puts together is unbelievable. You can't make everybody happy, but I think the majority are very happy. And what you guys do is very, very special for the horror fans. I had probably the best weekend of my life. I was pretty lucky. I got to, hang out with Danny quite a bit. I even got to see Robert, which was nice. And he got his star today. So big congratulations to Robert Englund. Danny sent me a picture. I guess him and all the Dream Warriors and Dream Masters were out there celebrating with them, which was really cool.
Okay,
but yeah, what you guys do. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've got another caller. I'm going to see if they have a spooky
Sounds
story.
Good. Thank you, Scarefest.
Thank you, John.
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted now.
Okay. So I'm not 100% sure. My name is Scott, by the way. I'm not 100% sure if this was a fever dream from when I was younger, but I was sick from school, and my father had taken me to one of his friend's house. Her name was Ruby. While I was sitting on her couch, and he was, sitting there with us, I heard her do a couple of pops and whistles, like weird, strange sounds. And then you would hear a little skittering sound across the kitchen. You'd hear the refrigerator open and close, and you'd hear the same skittering sound leave the kitchen. And then there would be a drink or a beer or something. But different sounds happened different times. She was I'm wanting to say she was into vaudeville as well as into, I think, the Luciferian side of things. So I'm not sure if it was like a gremlin or an imp or anything, but like I said, I'm not sure if it was a fever dream, but I personally heard the skittering, and I personally heard her do the pops and clicks, and then the skitter would actually happen.
Now, how old do you remember being when this memory came about?
About 9 to 10.
Okay, so I hate to say this would be a so-called fever hallucination, fever memory, and the reason is, this sounds like it's something that is a core memory of yours. Even fever dreams don't usually stick with us from the time we're children until adulthood. So this sounds like
well,
something.
I'm 42 now. So.
Yeah, so this sounds like something you did experience because it has obviously become a core memory of yours. I mean, I know what my earliest memories are, and none of them had or anything like that. And I'm sure I had some really creepy dreams when I was little. So yeah, Scott, that sounds really creepy.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me talk.
Oh, absolutely.
And thank you.
Now, do you remember where in your memory does it come about where you said that she was like tied to Luciferian, the Satanist church, whatever? Where did that come into your memory?
Well, my father was Luciferian before he got converted to Christianity. He was. I do know that Ruby was a very well-known person in that area for both the Vaudouin community and the Luciferian community. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, she was like one of the right-hand people of the church.
Okay,
or,
so
I wouldn't want to call it a church or the temple or something like that.
I understand they call themselves a church, so you can use that word. Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's the fact that this was something. So, this was something you were exposed to anyway, regardless of, or anyway. So, once again, this sounds like, something you were taking along with your dad, because this really, under those circumstances, really does sound like something that would happen. And I can tell you, when I was a young adult, I'll put it that way, I was under 21, I remember that much. I went out with a girl who was telling me, now she was not into any of that, but she got invited basically to a Satanist church. I believe she used that word. And some of the stories she told me were pretty damned creepy. Now, was it Luciferian? Because the actual Satanist church as it is, basically just atheist with an attitude. So it's a different animal. But, so yeah, that is, once again, I don't want to keep you up to any, I don't want you to lose any sleep over it, but more and more in your story sounds like this.
I don't lose any sleep over that. I'm scarier than that.
Well, but dude, I want to thank you for calling in, and that was a great story to share with us, and leads us right in to our next break with Bonehead Weekly.
Okay, thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly, and this week we're going to do a twofers because the Bonehead Weekly holiday party, and by that holiday I mean Halloween, was this past weekend. And this is a tradition that Chad and James and I have been doing now for over 20 years, where we try to pick movies and make each other, but that's gotten the worst ones, and that's gotten not the same. What we do is just pick horror films we haven't seen, and then my son actually joined us for one. But this week we're giving you two. The first one is the humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. That's a lot of syllables, and this one is on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, you can totally watch it. Basically, it stars this vampire named Sasha, who's a little girl, and her teeth aren't coming in. And it's like, well, why won't she feed? Why won't she feed? And she's not really into killing people. She has serious problems. She can't kill. Her parents are upset, and they've cut off her blood supply, and she's getting into jeopardy. And she meets a guy named Paul. He's a lonely teen with some suicidal tendencies who's willing to give his life for hers. And they begin this quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes so she can, teeth can come in and she can eat. It's not a terrible movie. Some of you might really enjoy this. It's French, so it has subtitles, just FYI. It's only about an hour and a half. It's really well made. It's just, it's exactly what you think it is. So it's kind of a little slow. Chad and James really like this movie. I thought it was okay. I love the idea of it. Like a lot of these horror films, I think this would have been a really good Twilight Zone, a short film, a little nugget. But we make an hour and a half. The second movie is something that you can find on Tubi, and this movie's been around since 1984. It is, if you've ever seen Airplane or The Naked Gun, it's kind of like that. It's a horror comedy called Bloodbath at the House of Death, and it's from 1984. It's a British film starring a guy named Vincent Price. And he's only in it for about 20 minutes, but everything he says in it is comedy gold. Some of it's inappropriate today by our standards, but it's still comedy gold. It stars a guy named Kenny Everett, Pamela Stevenson. And what it's about, I don't know that I can tell you the plot. It's a group of British scientists who go to investigate this radioactive thing at Headstone Manor, it's called, where 18 people were killed a couple of years before they visit. It's kind of, if you've ever seen The Legend of Hell House, which is based on a book called Hell House, if you've ever seen that, that's kind of the plot a little bit, but not really. They'll argue, so the scenes will stop while they start arguing about, now, how did the 18 people die? It's actually really funny. So if you have Tubi, I actually really highly recommend. Now, the third act, that last 20 minutes, it gets a little long in the tooth. But the first, once Vincent Price is kind of gone, spoiler alert, after the first hour, it's okay to turn it off. That most of the humor's gone. But this movie, I laughed a lot. And I may have been also doing other things, but I laughed a lot. This movie is a lot of fun. So you have a two for this week, and I recommend both of them. If you have a certain point of view, I think you'll love a humanist, vampire-seeking, consenting, suicidal person on Shudder. Like I said, it's French with subtitles, but it is really well made. And the other one being a 1984 film, which is 41 years old, that I'd never seen, Bloodbath at the House of Death. Think The Naked Gun is a horror comedy. Only not as funny, but there is some really funny things in this movie. So check them out. This has been Joe Lewis, a Bonehead Weekly. I miss you all, Scarefest. It seems like it was just 2 weeks ago.
And welcome back to the final segment of Scarefest TV for Halloween 2025. I still got time here for a caller or two if you want to call in. 312-626-6799. And then join meeting room 857-2561-5249. I haven't gotten any calls from Instagram or YouTube, which I'm kind of surprised. We turn really big numbers on Instagram. But yeah, if you want to call in, I've got a few minutes. We'll go ahead. While we're sitting here, I'll go ahead and share with you next week on Scarefest TV. Yes, it will be the post-mortem episode. The post-mortem council episode with Brandon and Adrian and me talking about how Scarefest went, things we might be able to do better, things we finally got right. And I mean, I think we kind of nailed it this year. I really do think we kind of nailed it. So, but I am looking to see if anybody wants to call in, or I'm going to shut her down. I'm going to shut her down for the night. This was an experiment, and you all said this. Oh, somebody, hey, yay, somebody came through. Admit. And, okay, 4900. Hey.
It's me, Barb.
What you got, Barb?
So I have a story, but it's not much of anything. But that's why I didn't call in the beginning. But it's something, and it reminds me something that someone else said reminded me of it. It was when I was a freshman in high school, so I was only 14, and my room was at the top of the stairs, and I had just tucked myself into bed, and I distinctly heard my stepdad say, "Barbara, get down here." So I go to the top of the stairs. I look, and he's not there. So I go down to the kitchen area, and my mom is standing there. She said, "What are you doing up?" And I said, "Well, I heard Dad call me." And she points to the living room, and he's laying on the couch in the living room. He's been passed out for a while. I don't know what that was, but I know distinctly that he had called my name from the bottom of the stairs. Freaked me out. I had to go all the way back into my room. And to make things worse, it was one of those bedrooms where it had an attic door that led right up into the ceiling.
Now,
so 14-year-old me had to try to go to sleep.
Now, we'll say in Appalachian folklore, that happens all the fucking time. So, yeah.
Oh, I bet it does.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stories like that down in the mountains. But, okay. Theoretically, I guess your dad could have had a fever dream and yelled your name. But, did you ever have it, now, without any specific stories, did anything else about the house make you think, hey, there's something going on here?
Well, my mom said that she had heard things in the basement a couple times, but I do remember being so wanting to get my own room. And after that happened, I asked my younger sister, "Do you mind if I move back in with you?" So I no longer needed my own room at that point.
See now, okay, well, of course, actually at 14, I had my own room. That was before we moved up. Let's see, when we moved into the house my mother still lives in to this day, we hadn't been there no time. My mom swore the house was haunted. I had a couple weird dreams there, but I never had any experiences. But I will say one of the dreams was vivid enough that it became a core memory. So who knows? But yeah, she swore that the previous owner, a Mrs. Scott, I believe it was, still hung around the house. Apparently she talked to her and everything.
And it's not always, when you talk about spirits, it's not always a freaky feeling. Sometimes it's just kind of okay, that just happened.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling.
Well, like in this case, okay, now my mother, I mean, very religious woman, always has been. You wouldn't even think, I'll put it this way, she was raised Baptist, became basically a Restoration Christian. It's not even, I don't even know what the Baptist viewpoint is on it. I know in the church that I grew up in, ghosts were they weren't embraced, they weren't denied, they just weren't something we talked about. We got to celebrate Halloween, so there's that going for us. But so I don't know that my mom ever had any folklore, any reason to embrace a ghost story in her own house. So that's kind of why that sticks to my mind, that she always said Mrs. Scott was still there. But so other than noises, your mom and dad never implied anything like that.
No. I feel like my mom is just kind of one of those sensitives to things too. In fact, if I can ever get her, if you ever do one of these again, I think I'll reach out to her and see if she'll call in, because I know she has stories of her own. And like I said, it's not always scary. It's just more of a, okay, well, we're not the only ones here apparently.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, glad I could help.
Well, no, I'm glad you called in. You helped me eat up that last segment. The people in the chat room are now they're saying, we had survived the nights, and they're talking about they had issues because they were just down the hall from Annabelle. So yeah, that's. I
do hope you'll do this again. I do hope you'll do it again, because I think tonight, maybe just because it's Halloween night, but
and honestly,
I think you should open it up again.
I might do it if something comes up in the meantime, but now I'm also going to admit my own failing. I teased it and asked about it in the fan group, and I never I didn't realize till tonight I'd put it on the website, but I never really put it out there on Facebook that I was doing it tonight. I went to look for the banner and it just didn't exist other than on my website. So, yeah.
Well, and if you want to maybe for next time, you could always have people kind of tell you in advance that they're going to call in too, and just say, hey, I want 6 people.
You can't trust people. God. I have zero faith in humanity as it is. That's just what I need. Have people by night. Because really, I thought the response was so overwhelming when I teased it that I thought we'd be doing this half the night. So that tells you where I came from. But then come to find out, one of them playing video games tonight.
Yeah. I'm glad that you did it. I think it could be a cool thing. And maybe now after tonight, people will start to think of, maybe it'll trigger a memory that someone has had that they'll call in for the next time. Because I want to hear some good stories.
The amazing thing is, of course, Katie's nowhere to be found. We have all these ghost hunters that come to Scarefest. All these ghost hunters involved. And coming in the chat room and everything. And number of ghost hunter callers tonight. Zip.
Yes, we have to have Katie call in for some of those, because I'm sure she has. Well, we know she has plenty of them. So
now I to close this out, I'm gonna say, when I was talking to Adam during the commercial break, I did this once, maybe twice, over to Live Paranormal, because they had a real phone system. You call in, hit like one button, and you were on the air. And I had one or two crank callers called. I got a couple of decent stories, but the one that got me, and because it had been such a dead evening, I just let her drone on. But I remember a woman called in, and it took her like 30 minutes to get to the core of her story.
Oh, no.
That was my biggest fear tonight, was somebody would just, drone on and on and on before they ever got to anything remotely interesting. But but that didn't happen. But we did get some good calls tonight, and yes, I will put it on my calendar to do it again next year. And if something comes up in the meantime where I can't get a guest, we might do it. We might talk about movies. Jake wanted to call in and talk about movies. Jake, we might just do that next time. We may just have a which I used to do that during COVID. We would have episodes just devoted to what are you watching? What you been doing. So that's always an option.
Perfect. That sounds like a good episode.
So yeah, if I can get these people to call in, because my rules are Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and what's the other one I got? Oh, Netflix, Hulu,
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. That's the other one.
Disney.
Yeah, I got Disney.
Oh, you have Disney now?
Oh, I've always had Disney. I got that. I was right out.
Oh.
I had that within a week when they launched it. I love Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's one more than I have too.
Well, see, that's because I love.
Well, thank you for doing this,
remember, I
Wes.
love superhero movies, and that's where all the good superhero movies are. So.
That is true.
So, Barb,
well, thanks for hanging out with us all on Halloween.
Thank you for calling in to close my show out, Barb. And everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We're going to call it a Halloween night. And I'll do this again. And I'll try to be maybe better prepared, better advertised. But I do want to thank everybody that called in for helping me burn out the hour. And we will see you next week with The Council.